John, thank you so much for sticking around for my Patreons. I know you want to teach them something about how to encrypt and use your own personal device. I just take it away.
All right, thank you. The best device for what I gather, okay, this is from John McAfee. He recommends the Samsung phone. I'm talking about a phone and your desktop access to the internet and just use of data generally. I'm going to show you how to encrypt or get encrypted software for your desktop, and you can do this for free. It just takes a little time, and you don't have to know much. Okay, it didn't take much skill for me to do this either. And also encrypt your phone. And believe it or not, you can have a dark phone or a black phone, as they say, a phone where your communications, even though the signal might be intercepted, it will be indiscernible to anybody. Even the NSA, they can't crack it, let's say, okay? So the way you do this is, I'm going to tell you the best device. You want an Android platform. So the best device is a Samsung S7 because a Samsung S7 cannot be rooted. That means even with virus software, it can't access the root directory in the phone and grab it and grab control of it. So the Samsung S7 is the one you want. If you don't have it, it's okay. But you want an Android operating system, okay? Once you have that, now this is for your phone. There are two things. I got to put my glasses on here because I made some notes. There are two things you want. This is going to give you encrypted access to use your phone. If you're using it on the internet, this is going to give you encrypted access. You want to download two applications. One is called Orfox, O-R-F-O-X. All right, and it comes from the Tor browser. The Tor browser, Tor stands for the onion router. And basically what it does is route your internet communications through a network of servers that don't track your IP address. Your IP address is like your phone number that is connected to your home address, okay? So Orfox, O-R-F-O-X, allows you to access the internet anonymously. Then once you have Orfox, you have to do this in order. You get Orfox, install it, then you get Orbot, which is O-R-B-O-T. Okay, you can search for these on any search engine.
Do you have to do something fresh every day with the Tor browser? Someone told me that every day you have to go in and get something new. Is that true?
No, I use mine every once in a while, like maybe every few weeks. And when I do, it downloads all the updates.
Okay.
That's all. So if you wait too long, then it's going to be a long time. You know, like if I wait a month, it might take 15 minutes to update.
Well, and every day they do an update to make sure that your stuff is safe.
You want to update before you start using it. Be patient. Don't be wanting to rush through things because you're not going to have any privacy then. And there are some behaviors you want to change. Like you don't want to, like if you're used to using Yahoo and clicking on social websites and things like this and just clicking on ads because you're curious. If you do things like that, you're going to lose your anonymity. So I'll use my anonymity for logging onto my bank account, right? Or trading cryptos or talking to somebody. All right?
Do you suggest people having a separate account for doing that kind of stuff? Like can you have, if you want to just surf the web, you want to click on crap, can you do it by having just a separate public account somewhere?
Yeah, you should do that like a separate browser or use a browser where, like you can use a browser that lets you go anywhere and then just erase it afterwards. You can do that. You can just set up a separate, like I searched for some, you can find encrypted browsers. Firefox is okay. There's one called SlimJet I happen to use. I think, let's see, Quant is another one. You can search on them though. And here's how you qualify them. A secure software application is going to be usually open source. You're not going to have to pay for it. And you would think, gosh, open source, everybody can see the code. Yeah, well, here's the nice thing about open source is it's always being updated by people like us, people that are way more sophisticated and want encryption.
Well, I know the open source, the Linux operating system, all that stuff was open. The best stuff we have started open source.
That's
because
right.
the best of the best developers that's what they do. That's their passion.
Yep. And as soon as it's not open source, I would move to something else if I want privacy. All right. So you download these two things on your phone, okay, in your Android platform, and then you can then have access to the internet with the Tor browser essentially, and you can conceal your IP address. All right. Now here's the fun part. This is where you take it over the top. This is where you can make phone calls. Now, the other person you're calling has to have the same software. So once you've installed those two applications, Orfox and Orbot, you want to go get Ghost Call. Ghost Call is, here's the website, it's ghostcall.io. You can search on it and find it yourself. It's very easy to get. Read the website. It'll give you a better understanding of what they're doing. It's all free. You download the application. Now, the application is called LinPhone, Linphone, LinPhone. It's a phone application, okay? You download that on your phone, and you're going to get a phone number, and then you just validate it. So make sure you have a good email address. Like I would use a Proton Mail address because it's encrypted. I wouldn't use Gmail. I wouldn't use Yahoo. I would use some encrypted email. So you may want to switch there before you even start this. Okay? So download Ghost Call, and now you can use phone calls and video conferencing and transfer data completely anonymously, all encrypted.
That sounds really good.
Yeah. Just as a side note, there's several levels of encryption. They start at 512-bit. You'll see 1024-bit. You'll see 2048-bit. And beyond that, you're going to hear things like elliptic curve encryption. This is military grade encryption. You can get it for free. So just look for things like, encrypted communications. And when you see elliptic curve encryption, that's your top encryption. That just means that it's the most encrypted we have on Earth.
At this
right
point.
Yeah. So when you see elliptic curve, but even 512 is pretty good. Even 512 for a cold storage device like the device I was showing you earlier, that's worth it. So that's how you set up your phone. It was that simple. Just download some applications, get accustomed to using it. There's a couple of things to follow when you're using it, so keep that in mind. I'll give you an idea. One thing I do is I use that Nokia 3310. I got a new one about 6 months ago, and it's a 3G phone, and I did it to avoid the radiation and also avoid the surveillance somewhat. It's still a smartphone. But I got a second one for my car. So that means the one that's in my car is the one that's always traveling past all the routing stations on the traffic lights, and it's not the phone I use in my office. So if you want to consider that, and I can still call people, I call my family,
to keep them separate.
Yeah, and it doesn't have all my contact lists on there. So if the cops want it, fine. Throw it in the creek. I don't care.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And there's so many whistleblowers now that are out there that I wish they probably wish they would have done a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, well, it's a process. I mean, it's taken me a while. Like you said, I do a lot of research before I do stuff because I don't want to get into something and then go, oh, I shouldn't have done it that way. So.
Yeah, you do. Now, when they go to your website, aceofcoins.com, do you have this listed anywhere or?
Yeah. If you download the Bulletproof Banking article, it's a 150-page PDF file. It's in there.
Okay.
It tells you this. Yeah. So that's in there.
You are awesome. Okay, so aceofcoins.com. What I love about you is the detail work that you do researching this. The bulletproof is exactly the right term.
Yeah, I think so. I think that hits it. People understand what that is.
Yes.
It's non-technical. So here's what you really want to do on your computer, especially if you're using your computer to trade cryptos and then you're using it for something else, man, you should really be focused on a thing like banking. Just keep it for one, like keeping old files. Like let's say you scan your passport, right? Documents that are important. Separate your computer or at least have a virtual machine, which we can talk about that later. But here's what you want to really consider on your desktop. Here's what I did. I have a local guy here, computer guy. I took my computer to him. I backed everything up, and I had him wipe my hard drive. And then actually I took my hard drive out, so I used it as a backup. So I still have my old hard drive. I put a new SSD. It's a solid state drive, has no moving parts. It's about 30% faster than a regular hard drive. It has, I think, a half a terabyte on there. Then I had him install Linux, and specifically Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U. Ubuntu Mate, M-A-T-E, okay? Linux Ubuntu Mate. It's easy to handle. It works just like Windows, except it's got 512-bit encryption. So I had him wipe my hard drive or install my new hard drive, wipe my operating system and put this new operating system in. And now I have encryption on my desktop. Okay, now there's another level to go to, but I think if you were to do that, now you've got some level of privacy. Just keep in mind, if you're wireless, the data being sent around your house is probably being captured by your smart meter, and it's probably being routed through your appliances as well.
They're catching everything. They're right now, everything.
Yeah. So
I'm
if you can
completely
break the
trapped,
link,
I'm sure.
you're better. Yeah, try to break the link. Other thing to consider is like my smart meter is on my garage. So when I park my car, let's say I park it in the garage or on the driveway, my car is right next to my smart meter. I guarantee you that there's data being sent from my car at night. There's got to be a download going into my smart meter. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I was successful because I don't really care about that so much right now. I'm just working through this. But what I did, I'm more concerned about the radiation from the smart meter. So what I did is I got a metal screen and a hose clamp and I just put it over the smart meter. So that cuts off the radiation. I mean,
Put a
that
little
kills.
Faraday cage over the smart
Yeah.
meter.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if your users want to do that, I highly recommend as a first step, encrypt your phone or get a less sophisticated phone. Go back to 3G.
I know
You don't
that's
need
what
to stay.
everybody's saying because you're worried about 5G as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. And I'm also worried about the psychological effects. I mean, look at all the people that are standing motionless in the grocery store staring at their phones.
Yeah.
This is
I,
dangerous.
well, I do know that the brain waves, all this stuff is affecting us, and the majority of people, I don't think they're just totally unconscious to it. They're not thinking about how our bodies work. You know, there might be some, there are people that get it at the big picture, but the vast majority of people just are unconscious to it.
Yeah, it's a shame. I just,
Yeah.
I don't want to, I would like to say something to people. And when I get into a conversation with them, I like to bring it up, but I don't want to just approach somebody and
Because you
like
sound
try
like
to
a
do
nut
a data
job.
dump. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They'll figure it out. I hope. I mean,
Well, I'm pretty sure that people around me, you know, like when I go to my daughter's events and stuff, they all probably think I'm a nut job, but I keep my conversations very vanilla
well,
because
yeah,
I
I'm actually,
still have to function in life.
it was like that for me in the very beginning, but I'm very lucky. Everybody I'm connected to, my friends, my family, my neighbors, they love it. They're like, "What do you have to tell us today?" They're like, they're
Because there's so
totally.
much to learn.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
Yeah, and if people are open-minded and they just want to learn, I do notice a lot of people reading my newsletter and a lot of other things, and I'm pretty proud when I see that. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But then
yeah,
there's some people that, you know, keep their distance, and that it's like, oh, that's too bad because there's so much you could learn. You know, because I'm not pushing anything on you, but gosh, the
right.
people I talk to are amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they'll learn. I think they'll catch on. I think we're probably ahead of the curve, so to speak. But that's why I love to share this information. Especially like the one last thing I would add to this is look at getting a virtual private network for your internet connection, and don't get a free one. Spend $3 to $5 a month. It's worth it.
Okay,
So that
again,
way, yeah,
aceofcoins.com and the
yeah,
bulletproof thing.
yeah.
Thank you. And
Download
I'll
the
have a
bullet.
link to all that here for people.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah,
You're awesome. Thank you so much.
thank you, Sarah.